In the same year, the company's management was completely changed and new management included German technologists and managers. The company's strategy also underwent a radical change. A long-term development plan, which envisaged laying out own vineyards and a fundamental reconstruction of the factory, was adopted. The plan was completely implemented within the period of 2 years. In the so-called Champagne zones, the company laid out vineyards complying with the international standards and established cooperative relations with thousands of farmers, rendering assistance to them in tending the vineyards and providing stable market-oriented purchase terms. It should be mentioned that the company purchases grapes in the areas and zones where producers of still wine are not very active. And for this reason, the company's activity in the zones is of great importance to the local population. In 2007, Bagrationi purchased 3,000 tons of grapes of Georgia's total 110,000 ton yield, which made Bagrationi the largest grape purchaser in the country. The company is aiming at vertical integration, and for this purpose it has purchased additional vineyards in the regions where sorts of grapes which are necessary for production of the best Georgian sparkling wine are cultivated. In order to increase productivity, the company carried out tillage and amelioration of soils, planted new saplings. The sorts being used by the company are Tsitska, Cinebuli, Gorulim Tsuane. Vineyards of Bagrationi 8082 are situated in Imereti and Kartli regions. The total area of vineyards in Imereti is 35 hectares. The sort of grapes, Tsitska. This year another 10 hectares have been added to them. The total area of vineyards in Kartli is 137 hectares. By 2008, the area for Cinebuli and Gorulim Tsuane made up 70 hectares. The planting will be fully completed by 2009. Harvesting is implemented manually. Grapes are transported to the factory in special crates, which provide high quality of the final product. Considerable investments were made in the production process as well. The majority of the equipment installed at the factory is modern, complies with top standards and has high production capacity. Up to 18 tons of grapes is squeezed at a time by means of high-performance German initial grapes processing machine. An additional bottling line was installed, which allows to double the capacity of the enterprise, up to 5 million bottles per year. The company fully observes the sparkling wine production technology. 2 methods of sparkling wine production are applied at the factory. For the production of sparkling wines in accordance with the traditional bottle fermentation method, Tsitska, Cinebuli and Gorulim Tsuane grape varieties are used. Grapes are squeezed and poured off into special barrels or tanks for primary fermentation. The wine is kept there till spring. Then tiraged liquor and yeast are added to it. Wine is bottled and placed in cellars for secondary fermentation. The fermentation process begins anew. Yeast enters into chemical reaction with liquor and sugar turns into spirit. Carbonic acid gas generated as a result of the process becomes dissolved in wine. The wine treated in this way is started to be prepared for selling after the aging period of 1 to 3 years. For this purpose, bottles are placed on special racks, and every day each of thousands of bottles is turned at a strictly defined angle so that the sediment inside it should be equally distributed. At the same time, during the period of several months, bottles are gradually turned in a cork-down position. Finally, the whole sediment becomes gathered on a cork. In 1 or 3 years, when the process reaches its final completion, the sediment is removed and the sparkling wine, champagne, is ready. Sparkling wines produced by this method are Bagrationi Reserve Brut, Bagrationi Reserve Dry, Bagrationi Reserve Semi-Dry. Starting from 2007, the company launched production of a special quality sparkling wine, Cinebuli, or finest in English. The other relatively quick method of production is the Charmat method. In this case, the process of secondary fermentation of wine takes place in special big tanks, acratophores. A period of several months is enough for vinification. The following sparkling wines are produced by this method: Bagrationi Classic Brut, Bagrationi Classic Dry, Bagrationi Classic Semi-Dry, Bagrationi Classic Semi-Sweet. Gold, Semi-Sweet, Rosé, Semi-Dry Pink Sparkling Wine, and Rouge, Semi-Sweet Red Sparkling Wine. Bagrationi 8082 has vast experience in production of sparkling wines and uses indigenous Georgian grape varieties with peculiar taste. This unique synthesis is complemented with the product design and packaging. The sparkling wine produced from Georgian grape varieties is filled into bottles specially imported from France and stopped with Portuguese cork. The products are placed in boxes and kept in the company's storehouses. Then they are transported to points of sales. In 2007, annual sales made up 2 million bottles. The company has its own distribution network across Georgia. 1.8 million bottles were sold in Georgia, the rest was exported. Now, in conditions of the continuing Russian embargo, the company is looking for new markets. Besides relatively closed markets of the CIS and the Baltics, the company is working to penetrate the markets of the United States, Germany, Great Britain, China, and Turkey. In order to achieve this goal, the quality of the products was perfected. New, more modern packaging and design were elaborated and introduced on the Georgian market. The revival and growth of cultivation of the Georgian champagne sorts of grapes in Kartli and Imereti, the number of people that will be employed in this sector, as well as the extent of the Georgian economy's enrichment, depend on how successful the company and its management will be in development of new markets. Bagrationi 8082 and its management hope that the progress, which is based on great traditions of Georgian wine production, modern technologies and the manager's professionalism, will certainly continue.